Hello everyone, today I'm going to show you how to get started in Scratch. So let's get right into it. Okay, so let's just keep that. So to move a character, you have to first when clicking the green flag. So when green flag clicked, it's always mandatory, and then when 10 steps move 10 steps. So now it will move 10 steps. Its exposition will change by 10 each time it moves. Now to set the direction, now to set the direction back to where you want it, you could do this x0 y0 because it's the starting point from mine. So x is the like value from side to side. So like if it's here then it's negative, and then if it's this side it's positive. If it's in the middle it's a zero. So let us go. So if it's in the middle it's zero. So and then the y is the horizontal position. So up here it's like y positive, and then here's like y negative, like that. Okay. So that's the basics, and you could try experimenting with it and getting your own for a much clearer idea. Anyways, I pointed x0 y0 so that it lines in the middle of the stage, so as you can see here. And the direction, so you could point in direction or point it towards. First let's do point in direction. So point in direction, like you can set it to point a direction. Right now it's 90, means it's like straight, like that. But if we turn it to 0 degrees it will face up. Come on. Oh yeah, right, I forgot we have to click the green flag. So now it's facing up, and then if it's you want it to down you have to keep it 180. There are negative numbers from here, so negative 90 makes it turn awkwardly, and 90 is like this, faces in the right direction. And you can also like turn degrees, some degrees, so just like with the move step, like that. Oops. You could use it to make some cool projects. Like I don't, so it's pretty basic. Anyways, so now that point in direction is over, let's now explain the point towards mouse pointer. So it makes it follow your mouse pointer. You can also set it to other sprites. So like I'm just get the a- amen or whatever, keep in like there, and now you can select it in this. You can select amen, and it points to its image. Now you could make it point towards amen. Now that we're done with that, let's do this change x by. So it changes it by that, enter a negative number, so it changes, and here is set. So if we set it to 0 it goes to 0, like that. And then when this event actually we got looks. So you could switch costume. There are two costumes with this default cat that I'm using, but there could be more. You could create new costumes using this, then clicking this paintbrush tool, or just getting a like or just getting the scratch things from the scratch library by like clicking. You don't need that. And here's how to draw or what how to sing. You could you first use the paintbrush tool, which is great for doodle art ish. Is a delete, and then the fill tool, so that let's just draw a circle so that you can fill it with different colors. It's just sort of color, and then you got it. The text tool gives a text, so there don't need it. And then the line tool, which draws a line like this. The circle tool draws a circle. If you hold shift it draws a proper circle. If you hold alt it goes from your middle. If you hold shift it goes from a middle. Alt and shift it goes from the middle and comes. But use control. Basically, it does nothing. But if you use alt while clicking on it, my God, I need to go to the select tool. If you go to the select tool, click alt and drag it, you can make an exact copy of it. So like alt, and then it produces a clone in the exact same place. Actually, not clone. And then for the square, it's the same. You make rectangles. If you don't hold things, it's the same rules basically. Yada yada. Let's move on. Also, you could make a you can see there's no triangle, but you can make it by making a square and then cutting off one edge and then keeping it to the center. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then you got your very own triangle. You can scale this down. You can point it like that. Chill not like that. Like you can make this smaller, shorter. You could distort it. No, that's it. Yeah, like that. And you can also change its position from flipping it horizontally, flipping it vertically. You can just explore basically. And the sounds tab, you could record your sound. Okay, you know what? I don't want it. Allow it. So you could record your sound. You can surprise a sound which is pretty much useless, and you can choose a sound from the sound library, which are all pretty bad. Or you can upload sounds. Same with it, upload costumes, and same with this, upload sprites, upload backgrounds. Blah, blah, blah. Anyways, let's go back to code. So switch costume to blah blah. Next costume, you can just figure out all of them out. Anyways, we're going to talk about the important things like the broadcast. So when you click it, it broadcasts a message. And when I receive a message, let's set it like to go to random position, and so you can broadcast it when you can broadcast message one after it moves like that. So and then also we have to set point in action. So it points in the right direction. Okay, wait a second. So now we are going to the wait 1 second, which just waits makes a delay. So now it moves a bit, and then adding, so you can change that number like that. Boom. And thing we have, yeah, and if and an if else. So this if is like, or checking one time if it's like touching mouse pointer. Let's do touching mouse pointer. You most of the time you want to keep a forever loop, unless in some cases where you don't want to. So let's do when green flag clicked forever. If touching mouse pointer, then like say hello for 2 seconds, I guess. Just keeping that, and now if it's I'm not touching the mouse pointer, it's not saying anything. But if I touch it, it says hello. And but if you also wanted to do something else, then you can remove this like if block and then get an if else block. So what an if else block does is that if you are touching the mouse pointer, it says hello. But if you also wanted to say something else when you're not touching it, so when this statement is false, or like cases when this statement is any other thing. So if there is other statement that's true but this one is not like that, let's just make it say okay, hover over me, hover over me. That now, and when I hover over it, it says hello. Else it says hover over me, like that. Like that. Now let's go to the stop all. Stop all. It's very buggy. You will use it in pretty niche scenarios, but as a beginner, you're going to use it. So just experiment with it because like top. Anyways, the start as a clone block. By the way, do not combine them and click them, or else you freeze your own screen. So don't combine them ever and click them. Just saying. Anyways, when I start, so first you have to create a clone. So I'll do it once I broadcast that message, and then when I start as a clone, you can do make it do anything that clone. So the main sprite is not going to do, but it's going to create a clone. That clone is going to do it, and just to differentiate it, I'm going to start spinning around like forever, and then maybe place the others and so on. Anyways, let's just make it turn degrees forever, blah blah blah. Anyways, Scratch has a 300 clone limit. So once you got 300 clones, you can add more clones. Anyways, after that, maybe we want to wait 1 second and then delete it. So instead of hide deleting, that clone will do whatever it says, delete it. So it's very useful for intermediate to advanced projects. Even some beginner projects can use it to make their code smoother. So like that, boom, that clone appeared, turn up 15 degrees, wait 1 second, and then like deleted itself like this, like that. Boom, and it just disappeared. Anyways, moving on to touching mouse pointer, it does basically what it is. If there's another thing, it also says edge, and if there's another spot, it says that. So if it's touching a thing, keep it in, and if else, and it will do what it do. I just use mouse pointer for now. So if it touches the mouse pointer, it does that thing. The touching color and the color that is touching that is pretty useless, but for beginners it's really useful. So it says what it says. So if color its color orange is touching white, then it will say yes, or if touching color is just if it touches any color like white. And the distance to mouse pointer, it's useful if you're advanced, blah blah blah. I don't, it's niche. Ask what's your name and wait. So once you says what is your name and you says blah 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 and then enter it, then in this answer, if you show it, then it says blah 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 my answer, and if you click it, it says that. So you can use it in some like things, answering games, blah. Okay, fine, I'll stop saying that. Key space pressed, it checks if your any key is pressed. Funnily enough, it doesn't contain all the keys. Anyways, this this mouse X and mouse Y is pretty important too. I guess yes, it is important. Mouse X keeps track of where your mouse is, your mouse X, and mouse Y keeps track of like where your Y is. So currently I'm at Y18. I'm way off the stage, so I'm at Y18. You could make it to use smooth movement or other things. The loudness block, it captures my loudness. Okay, it's a bit crazy, but I don't know much about it. The timer sets a timer, yes, and then reset timer resets it. And this block might seem useless, but it is very useful once you convert the stage into like another thing. Let's just say I said Andy, set its position to 30, and then set it somewhere random, and then search for let's set it to Andy. Let's search for things of Andy. So normally people who don't know about this use variables or such things, but this is more useful. So it saves you a ton of variables. Exposition, so exposition is 94, correct. Y position, you could also check Y position, direction, costume number, even costume name and costume number, size, and even volume. I don't know what volume does, but blah. Current year, this isn't even correct, and day since 2000, nobody uses it. Online, this is a new block, I guess. I never seen it before. Online, I never focused it. So I'm online, true, throw it out. And this username, okay, username, displays my username. It's pretty useful. and then add a here's a plus block, a minus block, a times block, a divided block. So all used in a lot of projects. Pick random, lesser than, greater than, equal to. If you didn't if you didn't learn all this in your school, it's and or not, these are all conditions. So if touching mouse pointer and key space, so only if only one of those things is there, it's thrown into not happened, like that. And anyways, just join these two together. It joins two names, two variables, things together. Letter 1 of apple is a, letter 2 is p, and p, like that. Yes. The length of apple is 5, so how many characters does it have? Then apple contains 8. So if apple has 8, yes, let's set variable to 0 and ask it if variable contains 1. Actually we set it to 0. So let's see. And then it says true because I just set the variable to 0. And this mod block, I don't know. I'm not a mathematician, so I don't know what it does. Round. Now here solves some very confusing things. Just basically adds, floors, sailing, square root, sine, cosine, tan. I don't know all the things. Power things, whatever. And here's the variable, one of the most important thing to make a game. Some people are afraid to do this, but it's very useful. So you type in a variable and like places, so whatever. Then okay. So basically, most people, the most used thing is like this thing, where it's ask you to for this for all sprites and for this sprite only. For this sprite is best for clone ID, things like that. Like it it each clone has its own score variable, so it's local only in one sprite. It won't show up in the other. And for all sprites, it if all the clones have a single number, like every clone, every like master thing, the original thing has one score, and it can be shared freely around multiple sprites. Okay, so let's get it. And cloud variable, you can only get it when you are like, wait a second, I'm just going to save it and then go to my profile just to show you. Wait a second, it's loading. Okay, so here's it. It shows that I'm a scratcher, and when you make a new account, you will be a new scratcher. You just have to share projects, like all of my projects. You just have to share the a lot of projects and interact with a lot of people. So like this, blah blah blah, and interact with a lot of people like that. So second, second, this is ours. So that's it. And if you can also choose a backdrop. You can choose one of these boring ones. You could paint them. So same with the sprites, but it's just stays at the back layer, and you can't move it. You can also just do surprise and surprise thing, which is completely useless, and upload thing. Just the second most useful thing. And that's it for how to like start your journey on Scratch. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel. Goodbye.